So you're just starting playing Pokemon Go again after taking a break, or you're completely new to the game. Well, today I'm going to be fully breaking down everything you need to know as a beginner, getting you through all the basics, what everything does, and overall just getting you started on the right foot to becoming a top trainer. If you played in 2016, by the way, there's a lot that has changed, so definitely watch this video as well, because we're going to be covering all the new changes and all the new features. Nonetheless, let's get right into it, starting with the number one thing you need to know about, which is going to be, in my opinion, Pokestops. Obviously, Pokemon Go is a GPS-based game, so depending on where you walk is how you interact with things, but there's these things called Pokestops, which you can go ahead and walk to. I'm too far from this one, and you can go ahead and spin. When you spin them, you're going to get items, which is the number one thing you need, specifically Pokeballs, to getting started on your adventure. Now, specifically from Pokestops, you can start collecting Pokeballs from level 1, Great Balls from level 12, Ultra Balls from level 20. You can also collect eggs from Pokestops, starting all at level 1 with the 2, 5, and 10 kilometer eggs. You can collect berries from Pokestops with raspberries starting at level 8, Nana berries at level 14, Pineapple berries at level 18, potions from Pokestops with regular potions at level 5, super potions from level 10, hypers from level 15, max potions from level 25. Revives, you can start collecting regular ones from level 5 and max revives from level 30. You can also start collecting evolutionary items, all from level 1, including the Dragon Scale, King's Rocks, Metal Cloaks, Sunstones, and upgrades. You can also collect Gimme Ghoul coins from Golden Pokestops, which is not something you need to learn about today. That's a more advanced thing. You can also, of course, collect gifts and stickers from Pokestops. So as you can see, spinning Pokestops and being in an area with a lot of Pokestops is very important, because that is going to be your number one source to getting items. Now, what do all these items do? First of all, of course, you have the Pokeball, Great Ball, and the Ultra Ball. All Pokeballs, you can go ahead and throw at Pokemon to catch them, each with different effectiveness. Obviously, the Pokeball being the least effective, moving all the way up to the Ultra Ball, which is going to be the most effective. Eggs collected from Pokestops, 2, 5, and 10 kilometer eggs, is going to mark how far you have to walk to hatch these, which you can go ahead and hatch Pokemon from them, just like in the main series games. As far as berries go, we have 3 different types of berries. First of all, we have the raspberry, which is a berry you can feed a Pokemon, which will make them easier to catch, specifically giving it a 1.5 times multiplier. You have the Nana berry, which if you give to a Pokemon, it'll make them jump and move around less, making it easier for those Pokemon that are a little bit tricky and like to skedaddle around. Finally, you have the Pineapple berry, which if you give to a Pokemon, it will double the amount of candy you get when catching that Pokemon. We'll get to candy in a bit. Now, once we've gone ahead and collected a bunch of Pokeballs from Pokestops, you can go ahead and start catching Pokemon, which is the number one core mechanic. Now, to catch a Pokemon, you just want to have to go ahead and grab the Pokeball and throw it at a Pokemon. You can obviously do a straight throw, or you can go ahead and do a curve throw. Do a curve throw, go ahead and grab the Pokemon, give it a little circle motion, and then let it go, and you'll see that curve action. You can curve it either right or left. Curving a throw will also make it easier to catch that Pokemon, since they count it more as like a skilled throw. Of course, before you catch a Pokemon, you can feed any of those berries we mentioned before, but once you catch a Pokemon, you're going to get 3 different items. Number 1, you're going to get XP. XP is experience points, which will go towards you leveling up in Pokemon Go. You need a lot of it to get to level 50, the highest level, so start collecting that XP, start catching Pokemon. You'll also get Stardust. Stardust is used to go ahead and power up your Pokemon and take them to a higher level. Finally, go ahead and get Candy, which is going to be specific per Pokemon. So of course, if you catch a Pikachu, you'll get Pikachu candy. If you catch a Remoraid, you'll get Remoraid candy, etc. for every single Pokemon. There are certain exceptions where Pokemon like Ponyta and Galarian Ponyta share a candy, but generally Pokemon have their own candy. Candy, of course, can be multiplied. You'll get 3 normally and 6 if you use a Pineapple berry. Once you've caught a Pokemon, you can obviously go ahead and look at it now in your Pokemon storage, and you can go ahead and release it or transfer it if you'd like in the bottom right corner by clicking this, transfer, and that will go ahead and transfer to the professor. Who knows what he does with it, but that will then give you a candy for transferring with that Pokemon. It'll now be deleted. So if you ever need more space for some of these Pokemon, you can go ahead and delete them. You can also long hold on some of these like this and transfer them in bulk if you'd like. Now we'll get more into what you can do with your certain Pokemon in a little bit, but first let's talk about gyms. Gyms is going to be the other POI you see in Pokemon Go, the taller one, and it can be held by the 3 teams in Pokemon Go. We have Instinct, Mystic, and Valor, which are the 3 teams you'll be asked to join when you go ahead and click on a gym. The difference between joining the different teams, I guess you'll be part of different challenges that come around during certain events, and you'll be on a different team, so when you're defending gyms, you can only drop into gyms that are from your team. Obviously, Mystic is the most popular team, with Valor in a close second, followed by Instinct, which is the least popular team. Let me know what team you're on. I'm on Instinct. But at gyms, there's a couple different things you can do. First of all, you can go ahead and spin the gym similar to how you spun a Pokestop. Gyms will generally give different-ish types of items, more focused on potions, and will definitely drop more potions and revives. They're more focused on healing items, so you can still get Pokeballs from them. Also, there's specifically 2 gyms when you spin them, there is a chance you get Mega Beedrill energy. don't know what level you need to be at, but there is a random chance you get Mega Beedrill energy. I have no idea why this is a thing. It's kind of like an Easter egg, but I guess you can start collecting Mega Beedrill energy by spinning gyms. However, at gyms is where battling starts to begin. And that's going to be with gym defense. Now, as you can see, when you click on a gym, if it is not your color, if it is not your team color, you're going to see up to 6 Pokemon there defending it. These are Pokemon you go ahead and start to take down. And once you've cleared all these Pokemon, you can put your Pokemon in gyms. Gymming is essential because dropping Pokemon into gyms allows you to hold that gym time, which allows you to get free Pokecoins in Pokemon Go, and it's the only way to get free Pokecoins. Holding a gym for 8 hours will get you the 50 max coins you can get for the day. You can also go ahead and feed berries into gyms if it is your team gym defending that gym. Not only can you drop your Pokemon in there, but you can click on the Pokemon and go ahead and give them berries. This will give you Stardust in return. If you want to use your berries on catching wild Pokemon, you can dump them in here. It's not a bad idea. And it's a great way to grind Stardust, which is that resource we talked about being very important. Finally, at gyms, there will be these things called raids that will appear. Raids are going to be temporary Pokemon in there that will block out a gym so you can't actually interact with the defense, dropping your Pokemon in there when there's a raid at that gym. But they will last 45 minutes and there'll be a Pokemon in there that you can go ahead and team up with other friends in a raid lobby and take down. Once you defeat this Pokemon, you'll have the chance to catch it, which will generally have better overall stats, and it's just a better version of the Pokemon. This is also the only, or one of the only ways to get legendaries in Pokemon Go. They're usually fought through raids. However, remember, as a newer player, you're going to need a lot of people to take these down, so definitely recommend trying to connect or find your local players who can help you out with that while your Pokemon are still weak and being powered up. Okay, let's talk about resources. Number one resource in Pokemon Go is going to be Stardust and Candy. When I come to a Pokemon here, I have the option to power up, and it shows me how much Stardust and how much Candy is going to cost. Every time I click this button, I'm going up half a level. Yes, Pokemon Go is kind of weird. Every power up is actually half a level. So if I go 2 power ups, that's going to be 1 level. I'm leveling up this Flabébé by 1 level, and this is how much it costs, and that's what the CP change is going to be. You can also go ahead and unlock a secondary charge move on Pokemon. This is going to be very useful for when we talk about PvP, but you can go ahead and click the new attack, which will give them a secondary charge move at the bottom. Finally, you go obviously have the evolve button if you'd like to evolve. Evolving Pokemon costs candy. The second thing is going to be XP. Now, XP, you'll see a bar showing you how much XP you need until the next level. XP is, of course, gained through catching Pokemon, through completing raids. Pretty much almost every single action in Pokemon Go gets you XP. So just playing the game, you'll get a bunch of XP to level up. But I will link below a video on how to grind XP efficiently if you're interested in leveling up very quickly in Pokemon Go. However, let's talk about the Pokemon you catch. Now, once you've caught a Pokemon, you're going to be in the menu here, and you're going to see a bunch of things. First of all, you can click on the Pokemon to give it the animation. At the top, you'll see its CP, you'll see its name, you'll see its HP, you'll see its typing, its height, and its weight, and you'll see how much candy you have for that Pokemon. For example, I have 3,000 Flabébé candies, and then if you're above level 31, you unlock this thing called XL candies, which allows you to power up your Pokemon even further. I have 225 XL candies, but you won't be seeing these until you're level 31. You also see your total Stardust count. I'm at 5.8 million. You'll have the option to power up, evolve Pokemon, and you can go ahead and see the Pokemon's moveset. You can also see the stats of the moves in trainer battles versus gyms and raids, because when you're using a Pokemon against a raid boss, it's going to do different damage than in PvP. Finally, you can unlock a new attack. You can also turn it into your buddy, which we're not going to get into buddies today, and you can see where it's caught. You also have the bottom at the top right. If you want to go ahead and star and favorite that Pokemon, you can go ahead and come in here, and there's a bunch of options. There's different options to use items on this Pokemon. You can go ahead and tag this Pokemon. None of this we're going to get into, but what we can look at is the appraisal button. This is going to be called individual values. Every single individual Pokemon you catch is going to have different individual values, ranging from 1 to 16 for attack, defense, and HP. Obviously, 2 Flabébés are going to have the exact same stats in Pokemon Go, but what makes them different is their IVs, their individual values, which are these. For example, if I search my Flabébés here, or I can look at actually even my evolved Florges one, this one here has 15 attack, 15 defense, 14 HP. It's going to be a lot better than this one, which is 0, 13, 15. So just know different Pokemon have different IVs. And that's the #1 tip I use as a new player. Try to focus less on the CP number, focus more on the IVs of the Pokemon, because you can always increase the CP by powering up Pokemon and using Stardust and candies, but you can never change their IVs. So this IVs is stuck like this forever, and that's why I've powered up this one all the way to the max, is because it has the good IVs. You can also go ahead and search shiny forms in Pokemon Go. As a new player, I didn't know about this, but different Pokemon come as a shiny, which are going to be like the shiny ones here that come in a different colorway. So if you ever find one of those are generally rare in Pokemon Go. They're about 1 in 500 odds in the wild, but sometimes will be boosted during certain events. These are very rare. A lot of people like these. If you know Pokemon, you know shinies are a thing. For example, this shiny Rayquaza looks super cool. The #1 trophy Pokemon in Pokemon Go is a shiny with the perfect IVs. This is the hunt that everybody wants. So as a new player, this is something you can obviously use as a goal. I have 3 of them only, and I've been playing for a long time. I have the Lechonk, the Sableye, and the Cresselia as the shiny 100% IVs. Now, as far as raids go, let's talk about them. When you find a raid in Pokemon Go, you can go ahead and join the raid lobby, but you need a raid pass. You're gonna get one free raid pass every single day by going to the gym, but you cannot stack these. You have to use it on the day and then get a new one the next day. Once you've joined the lobby, there's gonna be about 2 minutes for other people to go ahead and join the lobby. If you wanna take it on after 30 seconds, you can go ahead and ready up on your own and take it down yourself. Obviously, once there's other people in the raid, you guys can all ready up if you wanna skip that timer. That's a recent addition that's been great to Pokemon Go. And once that timer counts down, you're ready to start the raid. Do note, your raid pass is not used until you actually start the raid. So if you decide to change your mind in the raid lobby, I recommend leaving, after like 30 seconds before the raid starts, so other trainers have the chance to back out if you guys don't think you can take it down. But don't be that guy that backs out at the last second. Generally, there is different tiers of raid bosses. We have 1, 3, and 5-star raid bosses, with 5 stars being the legendaries and being the hardest. I have a bunch of counter guides on my channel, which I recommend you check out, which will show you the best Pokemon to take down each individual raid boss we get. And generally, by the way, the raid bosses will rotate every week. So when Kyogre comes to Pokemon Go in raids, you have like a week to take it down, and then it switches to a new raid boss. So definitely take advantage of if there's like a raid boss you really want to go after. Once you've defeated the raid, you will be given Premier Balls depending on how fast you took down the raid to catch that Pokemon. If you run out of Premier Balls, that Pokemon will run. So you're not guaranteed to get the legendary, and it can be pretty hard. And that's why I recommend practicing your curveball throws and also your excellent throws in Pokemon Go, because those are going to give you a higher chance of catching that Pokemon. Let's talk about PvP now. Now, PvP is going to be the player versus player aspect of Pokemon Go, and I'm not going to get fully into it because it's a beginner's guide. But once you're ready, you can come over to the battle menu, and here is going to be the online matchmaking Go Battle League. You can click battle, and you can go ahead and get matched up against a trainer. Now, PvP in Pokemon Go is a little bit different than the main series games. It's going to be a tap, 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 which will charge up your charge move, and then you can go ahead and throw your charge move at an opponent. However, each player gets 2 shields to block 2 random charge moves in Pokemon Go. You can use them whenever you would like. So it's not like the main series games where it's turn-based. You also have the option to switch out to any of your Pokemon at any point, but then you cannot switch for another 50 seconds. The player who wins is going to be the player who knocks out the opponent's 3 Pokemon before all of yours, or if the time runs out, which doesn't happen very often, I think it's like 5 or 8 minutes or something, the player with the most amount of Pokemon, and if there's the same amount of Pokemon, the most amount of overall health will win. When you win, there is of course a leaderboard, and you can go ahead and rank up to get to a higher level. I will link below a video if you want to get more into PvP, explaining the full mechanics and all that, but just know it is a 3 versus 3 format. However, there's also Team Go Rocket, which isn't PvP because you're battling against a computer, but it's going to be the same kind of thing. So if you want to practice PvP, you can find Team Go Rocket members in Pokemon Go. There's 2 ways you'll find them. Number 1, at a balloon, which will appear above you, where you can go ahead and battle them. They're going to be themed on a typing, so every single one will be a certain type. For example, you can find like a fire grunt, so all their Pokemon are going to be fire types. You'll then have the same mechanics of PvP, where you can go ahead and use your fast moves to charge up your charge moves and use those to throw them against the grunts. Once you defeat a grunt, you'll again get Premier Balls to catch that Pokemon. Once you defeat it, you can go ahead and catch it. Finally, you have friend battles. Go into your friends list and request to battle against someone. It's again going to be the same as the online matchmaking system, but of course you'll be battling your friend if you're interested in some friendly rivalry competition. Now that brings us to egg hatching. Egg hatching in Pokemon Go, you can come to your Pokemon menu here. You can come over to your eggs. This is going to show you all of your eggs in Pokemon Go that you can go ahead and incubate. Now there's 2 types of incubators in Pokemon Go. First of all, everybody gets a free incubator they can use forever, but you can also buy more regular incubators, which each one will give you 3 uses. Or you can buy a super incubator, which again, will give you 3 uses, but will reduce the amount of kilometers you have to walk by a little bit. You can also click on an egg and scroll down. It'll show you all the potential hatchable Pokemon. So if you're interested in what this 10-kilometer egg can hatch, here it'll show me all the potential ones, which can be very useful. Hatching is very simple. You just have to walk. For example, I have 1.9 out of 5 kilometers for this egg, so I have to keep walking until it cracks. Once the egg hatches, you just have it. And generally, hatched Pokemon have higher general IVs, which we talked about earlier. The final thing I haven't mentioned here is going to be your item bag. In your item bag is where you can go ahead and access all items, but there's a lot of ones in here. Let's talk about what all of them do. Obviously, we already talked about berries and Pokeballs, but there's 2 berries we didn't talk about. The Golden Raspberry, which is a powered up version of a raspberry, allowing you to catch Pokemon a lot easier. And a Silver Pineapple Berry will actually multiply your catch candy by 2.34. Very interesting. And it'll also make that Pokemon easier to catch. Think of it as a pineapple and a raspberry combined. We also have raid passes in there. Of course, you have your orange raid pass, which is the free one you get every single day. But if you'd like to do more than 1 raid a day, there is a premium aspect where you can go ahead and buy premium battle passes, the green ones in the shop for Pokecoins. You can also use a remote raid pass, which allows you to remotely join a remote raid. However, you can only do up to 5 of these a day because Niantic nerfed them. So you are limited on how many remote raids you can do. Your friends can also invite you to raids, which will require a remote raid pass to enter. We have TMs, which allow you to change your moves on Pokemon. We have fast and charge TMs. Of course, fast TMs will change your Pokemon's fast move, and charge TMs your Pokemon's charge move. Then there is the elite fast and elite charge TMs. These are similar to the TMs, but they allow you to specifically pick what charge move you want and let you get special moves on Pokemon. As a beginner, you don't really need to know that, but just know those are something you might want to get. We also have premium items. Premium items allow you to grind Pokemon Go more efficiently. They're collected through different research tasks and different rewards you can get from raids and stuff like that. First of all, we have the Lucky Egg, which will double the amount of XP you're collecting for 30 minutes. Very good for new players if you want to grind. We have the Star Piece, which will 1.5 times the amount of Stardust you're getting for 30 minutes. We have Lure Modules, specifically 6 types: the regular, glacial, mossy, magnetic, rainy, and golden lure module, which will all attract Pokemon to a Pokestop for 1 hour. So if I drop a rain lure module, water Pokemon will be attracted to that lure module for about an hour. We have the incense, which will attract Pokemon to you for about 60 minutes. However, they're more effective when you're moving around. So if you're walking, you're getting a Pokemon every minute versus standing still, a Pokemon every 5 minutes. We also have the daily adventure incense, which is a special incense you get every single day, which is similar to an incense, but they can get Galarian birds spawning off of them, but you can only use 1 a day. We also have other incenses like the mystery box and the coin bag, which we're not gonna talk about this video. We have rare candies, which, like the main series games, allow you to transfer into any type of Pokemon candy. For example, if I have a rare candy and I need more, Pikachu candy, I can take a rare candy and turn it into 1 Pikachu candy. Generally, I recommend saving these for legendaries or Pokemon that are a lot harder to get candies for. I hope this video gave you guys a bit of insight for anyone who hasn't been playing Pokemon Go in a while or is completely new to the game. If you have any questions, feel free to answer them below. I always do my best to go through every single day and answer the questions. If you want to continue your journey and get better, definitely recommend subscribing to the channel here. We cover all the tips for every single event and how to maximize on Pokemon Go. Watch the video below, actually, if you're interested in continuing your journey on improving as a Pokemon Go trainer. We'll see you in the next one. Follow for tips. Peace.